All right. See if I can move. Yeah. All right. Can y'all see the screen properly? Is everything good? All right. So before we start the presentation, I just want to introduce myself a little bit. So I was born in Maracaibo in 2004, and then I was actually raised in Katy my entire life. I moved to Katy when I was 3, so I'm basically American at this point. And I graduated from Tompkins High School in 2022. So it's been about 2 years since then. Time flies by. I don't know how it was so long ago. But I'm gonna be a junior in college, which is crazy to think about because it feels like high school was like so long ago. And so I can't believe it's already flying by so quickly. Like I said before, I'm majoring in mechanical engineering, but I'm also minoring in computer science. And so if anyone has any questions about computer science or mechie, just you can feel free to text me or just ask questions at the end of this video. And so as a mechanical engineering student, right now I'm interested in the energy and in the tech industries. And right now I'm actually currently interning at BP, which is an oil and gas and integrated energy company here in Chicago. So I wish I could show you like where I'm at right now. I'm next to the lake. I'm next to Lake Michigan. My apartment is like right on the lakefront, which is super, super nice. And I wish I could show y'all, but my window can't really see the lake, but it is pretty. Chicago's super nice, and the weather is a lot better than back there in Houston. So it's like a max of like 70 here, which is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
some
love
of the things that I
Chicago.
love, yeah, Chicago's the best ever. And some things that I love, some hobbies of mine are movies. I've been a movie person ever since I was little. My mom introduced me to movies since I was like 5, maybe. She introduced me to Disney movies, and then since then, I've been a movie fanatic for as long as I can remember. My favorite movie is Inception, and so if you want to talk to me about Inception or really like any Christopher Nolan movie, just yeah, I'm the biggest fan of those. I love lifting. I love running. I've been really getting into running this past semester. So, like for example, this image right here at the top right, that's the school-wide run that the UT provides for all the students at UT. And so everyone runs a 5 or 10K, and this is a picture that I took with my friends. Isa, I know you recognize Gawi Javi.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then one of my biggest hobbies and one of the things that I love listening to is reggaeton. So this past weekend, I was actually at a festival called Sueños, which is a festival full of reggaeton artists. And I got to see like 10 artists that I love and adore. And this is the picture that I took in front of the sign at the entrance. I love photography. At the top left right here, this is me and my family. We went to Zion Park this past spring break, and I love taking all the pictures of the parks and everywhere I visited. It's really like the most beautiful place I've probably visited in my entire life. I love Zion so much. And then my favorite place ever to go shopping at is Marshall's. It's top tier. No one can ever argue against that. So the first question that I wanted to talk about was why I ended up choosing mechanical engineering. So the first part of why I really chose mechanical engineering or just engineering in general was that ever since I was little, I've been a huge STEM person. So since like I think fourth, fifth grade, math and science have always been the classes that I did the best in. I'm that type of person that goes on YouTube and watches like cool math videos, like math explain videos, and I go on Instagram Reels and I watch like complicated math topics and stuff. I'm one of those people. And so I knew that as a STEM person, that engineering would probably be a good path for me to pursue. And so that because of that passion that I had for STEM, I decided to take engineering classes in high school. So I took all 3 engineering classes that KDISD offered, where I learned a lot of skills such as AutoCAD and Inventor, which is like uh, 3D, like computer aided design and modeling, which is kind of like imagine you're trying to design like a building or like a piece of equipment, use 3D CAD in order to design that. And so learning all those applications and learning how to build prototypes of certain machinery and equipment, such as like, for example, in the classes that I did, I built a bridge and I also got to build like a launcher that launched ping pong balls to hit like a group of blocks. That was a really fun thing to learn. And those classes really showed me the love that I had for problem solving. And so after I say around 10th grade was when I really figured out that engineering was going to be something that I wanted to pursue. However, one of the things that I didn't know was which type of engineering. Because as you all know, there's a lot of disciplines of engineering, such as mechanical, electrical, chemical. And so trying to choose which one was kind of the thing that I was struggling with going into my junior year, which was right when I wanted to learn more about the majors that I was interested in. But that decision, thankfully, came very easily whenever I took AP Physics, which is like the mechanics part of the physics that you learn in college. And so this is the first class that I genuinely like fell in love with. Despite I know everyone says physics is hard, and it was really hard, but it was honestly the most interesting and the most fun class that I took all throughout high school. And the mechanics that I learned throughout that class, it really solidified my choice that I wanted to go down and do mechanical engineering. And then my senior year, I took calculus, and calculus was also one of my favorite classes that I took. And just even more so, helped me to decide that engineering and mechanical engineering was the right path for me. And so now that I'm here in college, one of the things that I know about mechanical engineering is that it's a very broad, versatile major that you can go down multiple career paths. So, for example, if you're interested in working with cars, you can go down the automotive route and you can be a mechanical engineer at companies such as Tesla, General Motors, Ford, etc. Another thing you can do is the aerospace industry. I know a lot of people love working with planes. And so companies such as like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, those are great companies for a mechanical engineer to be involved with. And then me currently, the two industries that I'm interested in are energy and technology. And currently right here, that's a picture of me about, I think a week ago at a refinery here in Chicago for BP. I needed to take a picture for my mom because I know she wanted me to send her one. And I've been loving the role that I have in the energy industry. I think it's a very versatile job that I get to have. A lot of different cool projects that I'm learning a lot about. And so it's really interesting work that I'm in. And the technology, so let's say you want to work for like Google or Samsung, you want to work with semiconductors, you want to work to design Apple products like an iPhone, or you want to work to design an Xbox. A mechanical engineer can go down the technology route and they can pursue a job in the tech industry and work to do what they want in the tech industry. And then a less like common path that I see mechanical engineers take, but I have seen many go down, is what is called consulting, which to simplify it is basically like imagine doctors for companies. Basically, they're consultants have clients which are companies that they basically they help companies solve their issues for them. And so the problem solving skills that you learn as a mechanical engineer in college translates very well to the route of consulting, which is requires a lot of like problem solving abilities. And so even though consulting isn't necessarily an engineering specific role, I feel that mechanical engineering as a major can really help you go into consulting and succeed in that path. And as since I've been in mechanical engineering for the past 2 years, it has been pretty challenging, but it's been a very rewarding experience and the work does pay off. UT does provide a very great engineering program, and I've been loving the work that I've done in school and at the internship that I'm currently in. And one of the best things that I've learned in mechanical engineering is that you get to meet so many great people. It's amazing how many people you get to meet in mechanical engineering. It's such a broad and big major that you get to meet people from all different backgrounds. And since they're pursuing engineering just like you, they're just as passionate as you are. And so in school, for example, you can really meet a lot of mechanical engineers that you'll form study groups with, and that they'll help you prepare for interviews, for example, and they'll help you prepare for just a lot of things that are in the engineering route. And so I believe that the people that you meet in the major as mechanical engineering has been a great thing and one of the best things that I've gotten to see being part of the major. So,
Andres,
mhm.
yeah, I have a question. When you apply to UT Austin, you are able to enter straightforward to the major, or you need to be like in Texas A&M that you enter in a big box that is engineering and they choose for you later?
Yeah, so unlike Texas A&M, which is when you apply to like a general engineering program, and then you later apply to your specific major a year later. UT Austin is different where You apply to your specific major and you start taking classes in that major from the very beginning, start of college. So you go directly into your major and you don't have to take general engineering classes with the rest of the engineering students. So for my first year, I already took mechanical engineering specific classes. And so I would recommend if you're very set on the major that you're going towards, like if you're really set on doing mechanical engineering, or for example, if you're really set on doing electrical or chemical engineering, any of the other engineering paths, I believe that UT Austin is a good way to get your foot straight into the major that you want to pursue. However, if you are a little hesitant on which engineering you want to pursue, you're not sure which one is going to be the right fit for you, I do think that A&M is a good option because you take all the general engineering classes and that'll help you get like a year, it'll help you get like a little more time to think about what you really want to do before you actually pursue your next 3 years of engineering and take those classes that you're going to want to pursue in the future.
That's a good
Sorry,
advice. Mhm.
excuse me. Do you
Mhm.
know, like, say, like, for like the business school, do you know if like
Yeah.
the first 2 years they like take like all their core classes and then they declare their major like their junior year, or is it the same like for the engineering school? Like you start taking like your major classes every year.
I know most for my roommate's a business major, so I know a little bit about that. He decided to declare his major his spring of his freshman year, but I think it's not really like a set deadline for when you declare your major. I think most business majors choose around their spring of their freshman year. That way they can start take their sophomore year, they can start taking, for example, if someone wants to major in finance, they can start taking the finance classes their sophomore year. And so most people choose kind of early on, but again, you apply to the Macomb School as like a general business student, and then you choose later on. Does that answer your question, Alex?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, feel free if anyone has any questions, just unmute yourself or just like raise your hand on Zoom. Like I'm free to answer it. So happy to answer it. Now, the why I chose UT Austin. One of the best ranked engineering programs in the country. I think last time I checked, it was like number 11. Unfortunately, A&M is like 10 now, so it's a little higher, which is disappointing. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Austin is one of the big reasons that I wanted to go to UT as well. I know that Austin is one of the best cities for a young person like college students to live in. There's so many things to do. Like here in this bottom picture, that is the river that goes throughout all of Austin. And so many people, they love to go kayaking and go paddleboarding, and you get to see a beautiful view of the skyline. And that's been one of my favorite things to do when I got to Austin. It's super, super fun. And on top of that, Austin just has so many other things like natural, like I'm mostly everyone from Katy, I know like everything's flat, and so there's not much to do like in regards to like nature stuff. But in Austin, it's completely different. You can go on like a lot of hikes. In for example, there's a mount you can see the entire river in the hill country in Austin when you go on a hike to somewhere called Mount Bonnell. And there's other places where you can climb to the top of a bridge and see the view of the skyline as well as the river. There's a lot of hiking and a lot of like natural opportunities you have in Austin, which is super different from Houston, which is what I'm very happy about. For UT as well, since it's such a big school, it's like 50,000 people, I'm pretty sure, 40,000 undergrads. You have so many opportunities to network with other people and big companies. So one of the main examples for this is the UT Engineering Expo, which is essentially a really humongous career fair where about 200 or so companies come to UT and they bring recruiters in order to hire potential talent for summer internships or for full-time opportunities. So beginning in around September, most engineering students, they go to this engineering expo and they try to talk to recruiters to hopefully get them a chance to interview for a certain position at a company and potentially land an internship, which is one of the most important things that you can do as a college student. Because getting an internship especially as an engineering student is crucial in order to receive offers at better companies that you want to apply to in the future. And having that experience during summer internships or during fall or spring co-ops is one of the best things that you could have for your resume and just for your personal learning experience and your personal growth. Additionally, on top of the career fair, there's UT has a lot of opportunities for professional development. So I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with lunch and learns. But essentially, it's kind of like an informal chat that you have with companies. So employees from companies or recruiters from companies, they come and you basically just have this like lunch with them, you chat with them. It's more of an informal gathering with people, and you can it's a really good way to like build relationships with these recruiters that can eventually hopefully get you a referral to a company or for an internship. And so it's like these informal sessions are a lot of it's a great way to get like your foot in the door into these companies and a great way for you to introduce yourself to people that work at these companies that you eventually want to work for in the future. And then probably my favorite thing about UT is that the org culture, the organization culture is phenomenal. There's whatever org that you want to be a part of, whether you're passionate about a sport, or let's say you're passionate about chess, or you're passionate about being with a group of identity like people of your similar identity, there will be an org for it on UT. There's literally an org for anything you're interested in. Me personally, I'm in what is called the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and I've met so many great people throughout that org. It's been one of the best ways that I've gone to meet so many great people at UT. And these two pictures, this one right here and this one right here, have been my experience with the Student Engineering Council. So these people have been my best friends for the past year or two at UT. And these orgs have really been the best way that I've gone to meet and make the group of friends that I consider the ones that I'm going to be friends with for a very, very long time. One of the other best things is that since you have so many people coming into UT, you have a very diverse student body. You meet people of so many different backgrounds, so many different ethnicities, and it's just a great way to expose yourself to so many people that you would have never been exposed to being only from Katy. And so that's one of the best things. I've gone to meet people from different majors, a lot of engineering people from places in California, from New Jersey, from New York, out of states, all these out of state students, a lot of people from Dallas, from El Paso. You meet so many different people, and it's just a good way to like familiarize yourself with people from different backgrounds, different cultures, which I've always loved learning about. And UT also has a great number of resources, especially for engineering students. So at the very bottom right here, you can see this is a very nice engineering building where the background right here, that's all what we consider a makerspace area. And so there's a lot of machines like laser cutting machines, 3D printers, where you can basically get certified in these pieces of equipment and you can be there for as long as you want and make whatever you want from it. So for example, last year as a gift for my girlfriend, I made her a laser cut image of us and she really loved it and it's on her wall now. And yeah, getting to learn that piece of equipment has been very useful for not only for like personal matters, but for classes as well. I've gone to 3D print a lot of like prototypes that I need for my classes, which has been super cool to learn, super cool experience to have. If you ever need a lot of of course, engineering is difficult. And so there's tutoring opportunities literally everywhere. There's various tutoring opportunities, in person, virtual tutoring. If you need help, there will be someone to help you, which is one of the best things that UT has to offer. Kind of underrated, but you do get a free gym membership, and UT has two gyms, and they're both phenomenal. It does get pretty packed, but trust me, free gym membership is worth it, no matter how packed the gym is. Does anyone have any questions about like what other resources UT has, or just any other questions in general? All right. So this is just another slide about what my life has been like at UT. So the middle slide, one of my favorite, has been the OU Texas rivalry. So if y'all ever end up going to UT, you'll realize that we have a deep hatred for Oklahoma University. And that's been stemming from a rivalry that's been lasting, I'd say, 50 plus years. And so every year in October, both schools, we go to the Cotton Bowl Stadium in Dallas, and we have our annual rivalry game, which is called the Red River Showdown. And it's one of the most riveting and lively experiences. It's the best football game all year to watch. You have thousands of UT students and OU students bantering with each other and screaming, and It's just an overall great experience, and just the football atmosphere at the OU game is just phenomenal. In general, the atmosphere that you get from UT football games is the best thing you'll ever experience. Just waiting in line for hours before the game, even though you're going to be super sweaty and it's going to be super crowded. It's nothing like you'll ever experience. And if y'all ever get there, y'all will appreciate how great the vibe is at the football games. UT has a lot of opportunities to study abroad. So I know most of people are familiar with semester-long programs, but last year I actually got the chance to study abroad for the month of May, which is called a Maymester, and I got to study in London. And so here I took a picture with my friends that I still talk to today behind the Big Ben. That was the second day we were there, and the studying abroad experience is like no other. You get to experience a new different culture that you might have never had the chance to get used to experience, because since you're there for such a prolonged period of time, you get exposed to all this culture from like a different perspective than if you had only been there for, let's say, a week or so. So I really recommend studying abroad. It's a really fun experience. I learned a lot as well. Yeah, just overall, study abroad, I highly recommend.
For how
This
long?
picture,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Andres. For how long have you been in for the study abroad in May? Just 1 month?
1 month. Es
Oh,
un Maymester, sí.
okay.
Yeah.
Andres,
Hmm.
at UT, how many people would you say like live on campus and like how many like commute there or live like in Austin and go to campus during the day?
Most students, so most freshmen live on campus in the dorms, obviously, because that's just what most freshmen want to experience, the dorm life. But obviously, you don't have to restrict yourself to the dorm life. For example, I lived in an off-campus apartment my freshman year, and I was fine. I didn't really care for the dorm experience that much. But most people that live in this area next to UT, which is called West Campus, that's where the majority of all the high rise and all the apartments are located. It's like maybe like 2 blocks max away from UT, and that's where the majority of students go. But you do obviously have your students that live like, let's say, like 15 minutes away from campus. So they live with at an apartment that's a lot cheaper, for example, because it is farther from the campus, but they do have to commute. But the majority of people do live off campus next to UT, which is West Campus. That's where I currently live right now, and it's the most like vibrant because you get to like see everyone the most often, and it's just great to be with like there's such a big group of people in West Campus.
Thank you.
Hmm. This left picture right here is me at Barton Springs, which is like a super big natural pool that Austin has where you can go swimming, and the weather in Austin makes it so that the pool is super nice to go into from like many months of the year. And so that was for my roommate's birthday. He brought together all of his friends, and we played spike ball and volleyball that day, and we got to swim, which was super, super fun. This top right, I'm sure y'all remember whenever it froze in Texas last year for like a few days. And so school was canceled for 3 days, and me and my roommates had to go and explore the campus and see all of its frozen beauty. And so obviously we took a picture in front of the campus with all the frozen trees in the background. It was freezing, but it was worth it. I highly, highly enjoyed it. And then this is a picture of my banquet for the Student Engineering Council, carrying one of the members that was graduating. We've all grown really close, and I really miss them a lot now that I'm here in Chicago, but I'll see them back in August. You'll meet so many people in the orgs that you join. It's super, super fun. Now, so I'm sure all of y'all are like sophomores, juniors in high school, and so I wanted to help y'all a little bit with my tips for college admissions. One big thing that I think is not really spoken about too often is being realistic about the universities you want to go to and your financial circumstances. So, for example, if let's say you're really desiring to go to an Ivy League. Ivy Leagues are private schools up north. They cost a lot of money, and it might, if you don't have the financial circumstances to afford the university that you want to go, that private university you want to go to, then you might end up getting yourself into a lot of debt, which will eventually hurt you in the long run because you don't want to spend your first, like, let's say 5 years after graduating college paying off the debt that you have from your tuition. And so One of my biggest recommendations to avoid this is to apply for as many scholarships as you can. Scholarships are literally the best way to afford college. And especially if you want to apply to private universities, which are very expensive tuition, scholarships are the best way to get yourself easier access to these institutions without having a financial burden on your chest. One of the biggest recommendations as well, obviously, I go to a big public school. Texas has a lot of great public schools to offer, such as Texas, A&M, U of H, Texas Tech. All these schools are great options, and they're all public schools, so they're a lot cheaper as well. And you're still receiving a great education. So really consider public schools if it's, or community college even, because of the price. Just make sure you do what's easiest for your financial circumstances and just make sure that it is affordable for you and your family. One big thing that I wish I had known before is actually reviewing the degree plan for my major. So the degree plan is basically an outline of all the courses that you're going to take throughout your 4 years. So for example, here this image is the degree plan for mechanical engineering of what the classes I'm supposed to take my freshman and my sophomore year. Um, these classes are essentially courses that you can get credit for, or you might not get credit for from AP classes. So, for example, Rhetoric 306, that course you can get credit from AP Lang. You can get a social science credit from AP Psych or AP Economics. You can get a Gov credit from AP Gov, and you can get a history credit from AP US History. And so knowing what classes you're supposed to take when you go to college, if I would have known that, it would have really helped me decide what AP classes and what dual credit classes I should have taken the exams for. So there's a lot of classes like, for example, literature. I didn't take AP Lit in high school, but it is a class that I'm required to take as part of the core curriculum at UT. And so I had to take it in college, but it would have been a little easier if I had just taken the AP exam in high school and wouldn't have to go through that. So really being familiar with the classes that you have to take, especially your STEM classes, if you're going to engineering, is a very like useful thing to know. So if you are thinking of going into mechanical or any other engineering, make sure to check your school's degree plan and see if any AP classes can give you credit for the introductory classes that you're going to take. So for example, one of the intro classes that I take is General Chemistry 1, and I could have gone credit for that if I had taken AP Chemistry. Had I known that beforehand, I probably would have taken the class so that I wouldn't have had to spend the money paying for it in college. And honestly, taking the class, even though it might be a little easier in college, the classes that you take, it's better to just get it over with in college. It's better to just get it over with in high school and not have to worry about it. Same with calculus. Every engineering student has to take calculus. So if y'all are interested in engineering, highly recommend taking the AP calculus exams. So for AB or for BC, AB gets you one course credit, and then BC gets you 2 semesters of calculus credit. And then for physics, if y'all can, try to take the physics credit, try to take the physics exam in high school because physics in college is really, really hard. And I really don't want to put y'all through that. So please, please, please try to take physics in high school if y'all can. And then one other thing, so for the college application process itself, one thing I want to take note of is whenever you have to talk about why you want to go to the certain school you want to go to, they're going to ask you questions like what interests you about, let's say, UT, or what interests you about the A&M that makes you want to apply? What's one of your favorite things about UT that makes you want to apply? And so one of my biggest tips is to not write about something that you could easily find on like UT's website. Highly recommend for the colleges you really want to go to, going on a tour of the campus and really talking to the people that are on campus, such as if you're going during the year, you can meet students and talk to them about their experience in college and really look for stuff that you can talk about in your application that really draws your attention about the school. So for example, if you're an environmental engineering student and you see that there's a sustainable energy organization at UT that you really want to be a part of, that's something that you could talk about in your call in the college application. And that'll show college admissions officers that you're not just looking very like broadly at what UT is, and you're not just like another person who's saying the same thing in their why UT essay every single time. You're showing them that there's something very particular about UT that interests you, and that shows them that you've put in the effort to research into it and look into it more in depth than people who had just put the basic answer of, oh, I want to go to UT because it's a highly ranked program and because it's a great school to go to. Just for example, it really like shows college admissions officers that you are passionate about going and helps you give you a leg up in the application process and the admissions process. And then for your essay, I know you've been taught in school that or I guess not been taught in school, but from school you've learned that like it's better to write your essays like in a fancy way, use a lot of big words that make your essay sound smarter in a way. But trust me, you don't want to make your essay sound smarter at the expense of sounding less authentic in what you're talking about. One of the best things about the essay is that your you can express the topic in a very authentic way. And I feel like you focus on the authenticity of the essay and the subject matter a lot more than whether it sounds pretty or whether it sounds smart, for example. I think that just focusing on the actual what you want to talk about and try not to make it as fancy or as pretty as you may want to make it seem with a lot of big words. I think that's a very big key to make your essay stand out. And another thing is that colleges love niche essay topics. And so if you have a very niche passion and can relate that somehow to the prompt that UT is offering that year, talk about it. Talk about whatever you want. Talk about anything as unique as you want it to be. They literally love seeing these unique ideas that students bring and seeing all these different ways that people can put a spin on like conventional hobbies that people have. And so just really like have your own voice in your college essay and make sure to be as authentic as possible. That's my biggest tip for the essay. That's what I wish I had known and I wish I had done better on my essay. So once you do get to college though, my way of looking at college is split up into three different like mindsets that you should have. So the first is exploration. When you first get to college, you want to explore as much as you can because obviously this is a completely new environment that you're being put into. You're not used to how big the school is, and you're not used to the huge amounts of people that you're going to be in contact with. And so that may make you feel a little vulnerable. You're probably scared of putting yourself out there because you're scared of being judged and scared about other people will think about you. But I promise you, everyone is in the same boat as you. Everyone feels the same way, and I promise you, you'll be okay if as long as you just put yourself out there and try to meet as many people as you can, because this way you can really meet people that can eventually become your lifelong friends, hopefully, and just meet a bunch of great people that you would have never had the chance to meet if you had just stayed in your dorm or just stayed with your high school friends the entire time. When you first get to UT or to any college, one of the things that would be really good to do would be to explore your major and what opportunity you have to leverage the skills that you learn in your major. So one example that I have for me is that a lot of mechanical engineers join a technical orgs where you get to build a car. So it's called Longhorn Racing. And so you spend the whole year doing building a car with a bunch of other different engineers. And it's one of the things where you learn a lot of stuff outside of your class that you don't really, they're very applicable to the real world and is very helpful to learning skills that you'll learn like on the job hands-on. And so just taking note of all the different opportunities that you have to leverage your skills within your major is a very good thing to take into consideration and have an account in your mind. And of course, please find out what you're interested in, both socially and professionally. One of the biggest things that I recommend students whenever they first get into UT is that find out if there's an org that is that you're passionate in. Find out if there's any group of people or a group of identity people that you're interested in, and please put yourself out there. Try to join that org if you can. It'll really help you make a good group of meet a good group of people that will help you get accustomed into the way of college, and that hopefully you'll meet a bunch of upperclassmen as well that'll act as sort of mentors for you, which is awesome to have. It's also awesome to have upperclassmen helping you throughout your freshman year, guiding you throughout the process of your schoolwork as well as your extracurricular activities. One of the biggest things as well, one of the most important things that I've really learned is that you have to have discipline when you're in college. You're not gonna have your parents out. You're not gonna have your parents in college telling you when to wake up to do your homework all the time. You really need to take responsibility for yourself. So whether that means setting an alarm to wake up early to go to the gym, because if you might not have time to go to the gym in the afternoon, taking responsibility for yourself and prioritizing what's important is waking up early to go to the gym or just to work on assignments that you know are going to be taking a long time to do and making sure you don't procrastinate your assignments and just doing everything responsibly so that you're not stressed you're not stressed before an assignment is due and before a test is up. You want to take responsibility and make sure you study for that test in advance. Make sure you do everything you need in order to succeed on your own. You got to learn independence in college, and that takes a lot of discipline. A lot of people assume that they have to be the same person that they were in high school, but trust me, I've grown a lot in college. I was not the same person at all in high school. I know Isa can probably tell you all that I looked really, really different 2 years ago. The last time she saw me, she was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 that's not you, that's not you." She was super surprised. But yeah, just be open to like explore new things. College is all about exploration, and so just explore as much as you can. That's my biggest tip. Just really, really explore as much as you can. Just do whatever you're passionate in, and yeah, great thing to do is just explore. Everyone, I'm sure a lot of people have told you that time management is like crucial. I'm sure you've heard that many, many times over and over, that time management in college is it's something that you have to really leverage because you're on your own. You obviously don't have like te your teachers aren't going to tell you, oh, uh, complete this assignment by this date. You're just going to have to know based on like when the assignment is due on Canvas that you have to finish it, and we have to know when the tests are based on like the syllabus date. And so time management in order to prioritize everything, all your priorities. So for example, not just your academics, but if you want to prioritize getting your exercise in, making sure you make time to eat lunch, eat a healthy lunch, making sure you go on your daily run. That's all a very big thing that you have to take into consideration and have time management as a skill because if not, you're gonna end up sleeping 4 hours every day and you're gonna be super stressed all the time, making like trying to get your assignments done. And so procrastination is something that you cannot take lightly in college. It sucks. Don't procrastinate. In college, it's worse in college than it is in high school. Trust me, it'll bite you in the back if you don't manage your time properly. And the last thing that I want to talk about is persistence. College is hard. Engineering is hard, but that's okay. It's not just hard for you, it's hard for everyone. Engineering is something that is hard no matter who is taking the classes that you're in. So everyone is struggling and going through the same struggle as you. So that what you should do is instead of letting the difficulty of college bring you down, try to see that as opportunity to form study groups with people and to find a group of friends that you can really confide with and work together on the assignments and to study for tests. Because I promise you, working together to finish assignments and to study for tests is a great thing that you're going to learn. You can't do everything on your own because the assignments are going to be to get to a point and the content is going to get to a point where you just won't understand what the professor is giving you. And so instead of relying on the textbook, which is something that a lot of people don't really like to do, it's always great to have a support system with your friends and your professors and your teaching assistants. And so even though college is hard, that's okay. Other people think it's hard, and it's good to find a support group that can help you through this difficulty. And a lot of people, I've heard that it's very hard for people to find a group of friends their first semester of college because a lot of people come into a college and they come in with no friends that they had from high school. And so if they find it really difficult for them to find the people that they confide with. And so for example, let's say someone doesn't find their group their entire first year. That's okay. Some people don't find the group of people that they love and they want to be around the entire first year. You just have to be patient. I promise you, throughout your 4 years, there will come a time where you will find a group of people that you will eventually grow to love and be very close with. No matter how long it takes, you will find that group of people. So please whenever you get to college and you're feeling a little stressed that you're not finding college as easy to like socialize as you're not finding it as easy to socialize within college as you expected, and you're not finding your group as easily, just wait. I promise you, you will find it soon enough. And this is one thing that I've learned. Everyone does follow a different path, but what you have to do is you have to stick to your own path. So you can compare yourself to people who are a class ahead of you in a certain subject. They're ahead of you in your degree plan, and so they're going to graduate sooner than you, and they're going to have a job earlier than you. Some people already have internships their freshman year, and you don't. Some people are a part of a lot of other orgs within college, and you're not a part of any other orgs. It's hard, it's easy to compare yourself to these people and feel like you're not doing enough and that you're not being successful in your college experience. But I promise you, don't compare yourself to others. It's only going to hurt you. Stick to the path that you've defined for yourself. I promise you, just sticking to your own path is the way to success. You don't want to compare yourself to people. It's hard not to, but trust me, the comparison is the bane of my college existence. I've once I learned that I just follow my own path. I do what I do, and I do everything that I need to do and not compare myself to what others are doing. It's been a lot more successful in the long run. And now I'm at an internship with one of the biggest oil and gas companies in the world here in Chicago. And so a lot of my friends don't get to have the opportunity because they weren't as focused as I am. But I followed my path. I stayed focused and maintained the grind to find an internship. And so now I got to get this opportunity and experience here in Chicago this great life that I'm living and this job that I get to work and learn so much from. That's it for me. Does anyone have any questions? Isa?
I do. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
say that you choose the path for energy on mechanical engineering, and why the major for computer science? How computer science is helping you in that path?
So I wouldn't necessarily say that computer science has helped me so much in the path of mechanical engineering. I would say it's just something that I'm also interested in. And so I've always wanted to learn how to code. I never did so in high school. And so minoring in computer science, I feel like that's just something. So in my opinion, I feel like coding is something like Excel, where in the next 5 to 10 years, everyone's going to need to know how to code. And it's going to be very useful as an engineer to know how to code. And so, besides, on top of being passionate about coding and wanting to learn more about it, I feel that coding is just something that is going to be essential in the future. And I want to get a head start on learning it in college rather than just learning it on my own through online courses or so what.
You have in UT Austin, do you have computer science as a class that you have to take?
So, for the computer science minor, I have to take 6 classes. Two introductory level computer science classes, and then 4 upper division electives that you can choose, just depending on the topic that you want to learn. And so once you should start if you want to pursue a minor, since it is 6 classes, I would recommend choosing your minor early on in your college early on in your college years. So like your freshman and sophomore year, that way you do have time to split up your classes and not have to take all your classes for your minor all in like 1 or 2 semesters, because that will be stressful on top of the classes that you're taking for your major.
Yeah, but
So yeah,
if you take the minor, but if you don't decide that minor, you have to take computer science
no,
in the major.
I'm only taking computer science as an additional
Okay.
requirement that I
Yeah.
want to do. It's not required as a part of mechanical engineering. I just want to pursue computer science, and so I'm choosing to take the classes because I
Okay.
want to. It's not part of mechanical engineering itself.
Okay. Perfect.
Hmm.
And I have one question here in the chat. It is, what extracurricular activities clubs do you recommend at high school?
Ooh, that's a good one. Um, Sports are really good. Sports, if y'all are already involved in sports, is a really good way. It's a really good thing to talk about on your college essay. Um, student your honor society, so Spanish National Honor Society, your Math National Honor Society. That's another good extracurricular. Um, One of the things that I'd say I wouldn't do is that a lot of people just start orgs their junior year just because it's time for college applications. They start just a bunch of clubs that they're not really passionate about, or they start multiple clubs that they think that they have an interest in and they think they will get them a leg up in the application process. But trust me, colleges don't care if you have like 7 clubs that you made in your resume. It's a lot better to tell a college that you made one club, you founded one club that you're very passionate about, and talk about that in detail, because that shows to college admissions officers that you decided to hone in on one thing you're passionate about and just dive deep into exploring that passion. And that's a really good way to show colleges like a way like that you're very passionate about a certain topic. And so I'd really recommend if you do want to start your own club, don't start multiple, just start one and focus on that one club that you want to start.
Thank you. Okay, guys, it's your time for asking questions to Andres.
I promise I'm not mean or anything. So yeah.
He's a good guy. Daniela, you want to make a question?
No,
Don't be
you
afraid.
answered all the questions I had.
Andres, like,
Mhm.
how much would you say like volunteer work impacts like your college application for you?
I wouldn't know how like affect. I wouldn't really know that much. I haven't really known like talk. I haven't really like seen much about volunteer work, but I'm sure colleges do love seeing like that you put in a lot of effort into volunteering. So for example, what school do you go to?
Taylor?
Taylor, do y'all have like your volunteering org force? Like for me, it was called Force at Tompkins, but I don't know if y'all
It's
have like
called
the.
like Proud something club, I think, but it's only for juniors and seniors.
Okay. Well, I joined that club and I reached 120 hours of volunteering. And talking about that on my resume, I'm sure it gave me a little bit of a leg up because what college doesn't want to see that you took time out of your way to volunteer in your community. That's always something that they appreciate. And so I do think volunteer work is something that could help give you a leg up in the application. My
Yeah,
stats,
thank you.
like what stats? Like my SAT and like my GPA and stuff?
Exactly.
Okay. My GPA was a 4.68 at weighted and a 4.0 unweighted. And my SAT was a 1510 and my super score was a 1540.
Yeah, I see that I don't have much more question here.
Lucibel, is there any other stats you want to know about or
I
no?
think so.
We just
Yeah, I just wanted to, like, for instance, how did you prepare for the SAT?
Mhm.
What were your, when you graduated, in what percentage ranking were you in your graduation? So things like
Mhm.
that, a little bit more detail.
Yeah. For the SAT, I prepared through like just a separate like what's it called? A separate course that I took where I took a practice SAT every month. I'm sure Simplex, Le
Sí.
Monse,
El de
Simplex.
Monse
I
Simplex.
I took the
¿Y te
one with
acuerdas?
Monse,
Sí, y te acuerdas que hicimos también, creo que
el PISA.
el PSAT
Mhm.
con este señor, ahora no me acuerdo, con Mr. B, Mr. No
I
me
don't
acuerdo,
remember.
pero él ya se retiró, pero él era muy bueno también. Pero
Mhm.
ya, hicimos esos dos, con Monse y con... Ay, se me olvidó el nombre, ya la memoria me está fallando. Pero si lo consigo, te lo paso, Lucibel. Monse todavía está activa y ya da clases de SAT Prep. eh, y podemos conseguir algún material del otro profesor que vio Andrés también. Ujú.
Isabel, do you wanna focus on more math or more reading? Like reading, writing, or both?
I'm actually a parent.
Oh,
So,
okay, okay.
sorry.
No, no, you're
I'm
good, you're
just
good.
curious.
For math, I would recommend the College Panda book. The College Panda book for SAT is for SAT math is really, really good. It has a lot of detailed explanations by the author going into detail about each topic that is tested on the SAT, and there's a lot of practice problems that you can do. Another way that I would recommend is Khan Academy. Khan Academy I used a lot. Like I spammed Khan Academy throughout high school, and it really helped a lot, especially for reading and writing because Khan Academy, the way it works is that you take practice SAT, you do practice questions and practice SATs, and then depending on the type of questions you get wrong, it basically filters the questions that you receive in the future to focus on the topics that you messed up on in the previous test. And so it's kind of like what's the word that I want to say? It like filters out the questions to focus on what you're struggling in, and it like focuses on the topics that you need to work on, which is really helpful. And then obviously I think the best way is to do a lot of practice tests. Practice is perfect. Perfect. Practice is great. I'm not sure if there's a lot of practice SATs now that it's online. I'm not sure how
Yeah,
many
they
there
are.
are, but
Mm-hmm.
there are practice tests.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, try
Yeah.
to do as many as you can. If you can, try to do a College Board official practice tests because those are the ones that are going to be most similar to the one you actually do take in the future. So try to make sure that the practice tests are officially College Board practice tests. And then in regards to my percentage, I was top six, so I was automatic admission into UT. However, automatic admission into UT is only for a certain school within UT. So automatic admission is you're automatically admitted into the School of Liberal Arts. And so if you're in the top 6%, when you apply to UT, like a few days later, it says, congratulations, you're automatically admitted into the University of Texas School of Liberal Arts. Because that's the school that everyone gets into as an automatic admit. But if you want to know what if you got admitted into the school that you actually applied for, you do have to wait until your actual application decision comes out, which is I think February 1st. And so that's when you'll know whether you got into your certain major or not. And even if you're not top six, um, there's so many people that get into UT that aren't top six. Just if as long as you have a good essay and good stats, you don't really need to be top six. I promise you, that's not the only thing that people that the UT looks at. It's really there's so many people I know that have gone in without being top six. So I wouldn't stress too much if your daughter's not in top six or son is not in top six. Any other questions?
No, I don't see any more, Andres.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you,
Thank
Isa.
you.
Oh wait, I saw one more.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Um, no, I didn't do any internships, but I do think that I know in your senior year of high school, students have the opportunity to do PACE, which is the Miller course, which is like the PACE KAP, which does give you opportunity in your second semester to do an internship. I know a lot of people that it's really helped them whenever they get to college, like speaking to recruiters at the career fair, because having that internship opportunity with Pace got them that real world experience that they could talk to with recruiters about, and it really impressed them. And so, if you are like a junior or a sophomore in your senior year and you do want to have the opportunity to do an internship, I would recommend doing the PACE program. And it is a 5.0 as well, so it's helpful for your GPA. That's a really good way to get your foot in the door for an internship and have that experience that you would want whenever you do want to look for a real internship in college, whenever you do begin.
and Andres, when you started doing internship in college, in your sophomore year, your junior year, your freshman?
My freshman, so everyone wants an internship because that's like the goal that every college student has, especially engineering students. So during my freshman year, I went to the career fair and I went and I talked to as many people as I could, but it's really hard as a freshman if you don't have previous like engineering experience or any like project experience for recruiters to want to take an interest in you. And so if you do have like, let's say for freshmen, I would say the best thing to have on your resume is projects, personal projects that show that you have skills that are related to your engineering background, or what's another thing? It's off the top of my head. Um, yeah, I say that or internships. If you do happen to get an internship in high school, those are the two best ways to show recruiters that like they can take an interest in you and that you are valuable enough to get an interview for an internship, hopefully at the career fair. But as a freshman, I didn't really get any offers for interviews or offers from internships. It really helps your sophomore year. Whenever you're a sophomore, companies start looking at you way, way more. And so I interviewed for a lot more companies when I was a sophomore. And so this is the one that I'm a sophomore right now. I just finished my sophomore year, and this is my first internship.
Perfect. Thank you, Andres. Thank you for being here Friday
No
night.
problem. No, you're good.
Yeah, and thank
I
you
love
guys
talking
for
about this.
for being here. And I record it, okay? And if you give me permission, I can share it with the other students that couldn't came today.
And Isa, if they send if they have any other questions, you can let them know. You can give me my number. You can give them my number, and I'm happy to respond and answer the question. Anything college, anything UT related, or like high school application related, you can ask me. I'm happy to help.
Okay. Thank you so much, Andres.
Thank you,
Bye.
Isa.
Bye, guys, and happy summer.
Have a great summer, guys.